Hey everybody, welcome to the Voice of the Radical Center. My name is Jonathan Langley.
And I'm Jacque Nowak. Today is Sunday, April 26th, 2020.
Yes, and here's the thing, for sharp-eyed people who aren't actually on the radio, but watching us on YouTube or anywhere else, you may have noticed we're not actually in the same studio today.
No, we decided to socially isolate.
Let's explain, Jackie, why this is all your fault.
It totally is my fault.
Yes.
I broke quarantine. I mean, I had a mask and gloves, so I probably didn't really break quarantine. I just went outside of my normal circle that I've been staying within for the last month or so. And so now I decided that was the perfect excuse not to be in the same studio.
Well, yeah, it's actually worked. So that's why we're both, we're in separate, Jacque is in the very expensive, as you can tell by the audio and the background, Studio B. And the reason being, Jacque and I, we've discussed this many times, we feel quite comfortable being in the same studio because we both think we're quite sensible in how we manage our social distancing. But as Jacque said, she broke quarantine.
I did. I went outside my circle, but it was a necessary
Yes,
move.
it was.
So it was, yeah.
So that's why we're doing this today, and that's why there's no fancy camera work. That's why there's no... We haven't even mentioned Dan, the producer, for a long time. There's no one around pressing buttons on this fancy video console we have. Yeah. So it's just Jacque and I. Hey, this is about as low budget as you can get.
Hey, this is good. This is good.
This is it. This is not... CNN.
Nice and easy. With the week that we've had, maybe we need a little nice and easy this week.
Exactly. All right. So I just want to say a quick shout out to Dr. Asad Kamani, who came on a few weeks ago. Jacque and I skipped a weekend. Asad Kamani came on, a psychiatrist, to talk about how people are handling isolation and the types of things they can do. So I want to thank him for coming on. So now let's get into, now that we've sort of explained why, if you're watching us on YouTube, we are where we are in this split screen format. Mm-hmm. As I said before, it's necessity. We are trying to take this seriously. So Jacque, how have you been doing during the week? I mean, or 2 weeks? I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. How's it all going?
Well, it's going pretty well. I have gotten out and about a little bit more than I was for the first few weeks. I really, for a couple weeks there, I didn't even go to the grocery store. I had plenty of food, didn't even bother. And this week I've gone to a few of the stores, and the stores that are open are packed. I mean, I think everybody is ready to get back to life as normal, and I just kind of wonder if the coronavirus is ready for us to get back to normal.
So where did you go? Where did you go?
I made a number of trips to Home Depot, and I have to say they are crushing it. Home Depot is definitely going to turn out to be one of the winners, well, at least in my opinion.
So I presume you were, it's like so many people, right? They're doing home improvement.
Yes, we've been working in the yard and putting out rocks and mulch and stuff like that. So you make a couple trips back and forth, and the place is packed. They do a really great job. Nobody gets in without a mask. And, I've had my gloves on if I'm going to be pushing a cart.
You wear your gloves?
Well, yeah, just disposable gloves, because you're touching carts, you're doing stuff. So, yeah. How about you? Have you gotten out and about?
I went to the supermarket, and I went to...
Big crowds? Did they have food? What did you find?
It was no problem. Actually, it was okay. There was... I avoided, for those listening to us in outside of Texas, but there's an H-E-B, is well-known supermarket chain here, and they've done a phenomenal job. They put up barriers and making screens to make sure that people don't get sick. But I went to a few smaller supermarkets because I didn't want to actually have to deal with the crush at H-E-B, which is well known to be one of the busiest stores here in Texas. So I went there. I did go to Lowe's, which is equivalent of Home Depot.
Exactly.
And the reason I went there is because using your analogy, they weren't crushing it as much as Home Depot, and the simple reason being that they actually have, I didn't have to stand in line to get in.
Oh, for your people?
Did you have to stand in line to get in?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, some of them, the ones near me, in Central Austin, they had to do that, yeah. So I guess the first thing we're going to talk about, can we talk about good, the bad, and the ugly now?
Oh, absolutely.
seeing as this was your idea.
Yeah. I know. I have my list, but you go ahead and start with yours.
So this is something Jackie wanted to do, and I think it's a great idea, which is in the past, well, in this case, 2 weeks, what have we seen that's actually made us feel good, or we've seen something good people are doing, or the bad and the ugly. So it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And my favorite, and I forget who sent it to me, I didn't find it, was a song on YouTube, which we'll be playing. And if you see it on YouTube, it's really on our channel. You'll see it. We're going to have it, and we're going to play it now. But it's a YouTube song called by a couple who are basically tired of, I guess, being self-isolating together. And it's called Baby, It's COVID Outside. So we're going to play that right now. And then we'll be coming back to hear my bad and ugly.
All right.
Sammy,
Yeah?
I gotta get out of this house. I'm going stir crazy.
Diane, I really don't think that's a very good idea. I mean, what would the task force think? And Dr. Fauci, and that lady who wears the tablecloth around her neck, that gal?
I really can't
But
stay.
baby, it's COVID outside.
I've got to go away.
But baby, it's COVID outside.
These past weeks have been
I'm hoping that
so
you'll
very
stay in
long.
and wear a mask made from my thumb.
Really don't have to
This
worry.
virus spreads in a
I'm
hurry.
tired of pacing the floor.
Listen to that cable news roar.
I gotta scurry.
Beautiful, what's your
Maybe just
hurry?
a half drink
But
more.
Sanji pooped on while I pour.
Quarantine
But
stinks.
baby, you must stay in.
Say, what's in these drinks?
Hydroxychloroquine.
I wish I knew how.
Your roots are like charcoal
do
now.
my hair.
I'll take your hat, 'cause I don't care.
I wanna just go.
Sorry,
closer.
I can't move closer.
Am I really safer inside?
Toilet paper shortage aside.
Guess I should stay.
You really can go, kid, 'cause baby, it's COVID. Outside. Stay home.
So
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what did
Yeah.
you think of that?
No, that was fabulous. Yeah, they did a good job. And it's, cheeky.
And I love the part at the end. For those who haven't seen the video, the part at the end where she takes her hat off, and what you can't tell is when, if you're just listening to the song, he's looking at her hair, looking at the grey roots, which are growing in, because so many people can't go to the hair salons.
Yes.
Oh, that makes me think.
What?
Okay,
What's that?
So I just thought of something. So one of the things that states want to do is open up some of these stores,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
So I want to get into this. I know I have my ugly and bad things in just a second, but I'm getting off topic. I apologize. So the salons, right? So there's no question I would not go to the movie theater.
Right.
Would I go to a crowded restaurant? No. I can tell you where I wouldn't go: to a Vegas casino, just to pick another one, or even the gym, especially a crowded gym.
Yeah.
Would you, Jackie Nowak, before we discover everything about your good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yeah.
and did you get your money for your business, would you go and get your hair colored, hypothetically, assuming you have to go and get your hair cut? If the salons opened up, they're saying by May the 14th, I think,
Yeah.
in Texas, would you go?
I'm not ready. No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Really? Okay.
No. I think I'll just wait a little bit longer on anything that involves being closely, one-on-one with a person for a long period of time.
I have to tell you, I would go.
Would you?
And the reason being, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I asked I've actually been going to the same guy, and it sounds I don't mean to sound sort of elitist, but my stylist for 20 years, right? I've been going to him for a long time. I've been through 3 divorces with him and this type of thing. And
Okay, to clarify, you haven't had 3
I know I've not
divorces.
been married to him. I mean,
No,
no.
you haven't had
no,
3
No, I
divorces.
haven't. No.
He's had 3
He's had
divorces,
3.
I take
Well,
it.
let me rephrase that: 2 divorces and 3 marriages, and
Okay.
God bless him, I love him. And so so I trust him,
Yeah.
right? Here's my point. I actually asked him. I sent him a text the other day, and I asked him if Abbott says that salons and gyms and other can open, but particularly for salons, which is your business, which he owns, right? and he got his money, by the way, just so you know, Jackie, to help pay some of his people.
Oh, good.
And he's going to go back and get more, he said. I asked him, would he open up his business? And his answer was, I thought, very interesting. He said he thinks he's going to have to because his customers are going to demand it. And if he doesn't do it, he'll lose them as customers. So I thought that was a very interesting point.
Yeah, he does have a point. Because if you're not there to service them, they're going to find somebody else.
Exactly.
But hopefully they'll come back to you when you're ready.
And of course, I don't know if his stylists are going to come. Some of his stylists are going to come back, right? It's too soon to say. So
right.
yeah.
So my philosophy is I'm open to trying some services. Like I said, I went to Home Depot. I'll go to the grocery store. I actually went to a liquor store myself, and they had the best setup out of everybody. You walk in the door, they insisted you use hand sanitizer, and they said no shopping, no looking around, go get what you need, bring it back.
Right, okay.
They scanned
Wow.
it through the plexiglass, and you did your own card. They didn't touch it, and if you wanted it bagged, you put it in your bag yourself.
That is true. I've noticed
They did a good job.
Supermarkets expect you to bag yourself, at least the couple that I've been to. They don't bag for you anymore.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
anything with a long-term contact with somebody else, like going to the dentist.
Oh, yeah. Would you do that?
No,
Would
I'm
you
going
do
to hold
that?
off on that. I'm going to hold off on that.
So here's my problem, right? I was scheduled for some teeth surgery, not
Right.
just I don't have fillings that need doing. Obviously for emergencies they'll take you, but I had some I was having some, it's not really cosmetic, it's slightly more, I had some root canals that needed to be redone, right? So they've done the basic
preliminary work.
and now they
Right.
need to go finish it. So they've got temporary crowns and this type of thing, and they can't because of that. Now I am the absolute worst by a country mile patient to ever go to the dentist. I think I've told you, Jackie, that my dentist told me when I asked him once, I was being slightly facetious. You remember the answer?
I do.
I said, I'm not going to name the doctor. I said, the dentist, I said, listen, I've got to be average, right? There's got to be people worse than me. And much to my chagrin, he told me, and I thought he was joking at first, that I was the third worst. And
He's done the math.
he's done the math, and he was ready for the answer. So my point is, I don't want to go to the dentist.
Yeah, so put that off as long as you can and blame it on coronavirus.
Right, but now I feel like
The longer you wait.
the longer I wait,
Yeah.
I've got to get it done. So yeah, the answer for me would be, by the way, yes, I would have to go if they open
Right.
it up.
But you're not going to be like there the first week, or you would? You don't.
Yeah, I would be there. I
Okay.
would go. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but
that's
I wouldn't
good to
go.
know.
But I wouldn't go to the gym. I'm a member of a gym, one of those big chains. I mean, my God, could you imagine more of a petri dish than a gym?
So here's the thing on that. If nobody else is going and you're in a huge gym with 5 people, maybe it's not so bad. But when people in the crowd start coming back, that's the concern, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
see. All right.
Okay, so we've digressed.
So we digress. That's
your-
my fault. That was my good. My
that
good
was your good with a little segue
Okay,
of
so
info.
my bad, and we're going to put a picture up. I'll have to describe it. And I did send this to Jackie the other week. I was driving around. I forget what I was doing. I had to go somewhere, and maybe I was just bored. That's probably what it was. And the line at a Starbucks, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the line there. Starbucks, of course, are closed, but the drive-thrus are open, the ones that have them. And I have never seen such a long line. It's like getting into a rock concert. It was incredible. And I sent it to you, Jackie. What did you? I mean, there had to
here's-
be 30 or 40 cars. It was
Right,
just
so
incredible.
here's my thought is because most Starbucks are not open, because most of them don't have a drive-through, do
Right.
they?
I don't think they do.
I don't think
No,
they do. That
no.
the ones that have a drive-through are, grabbing everybody else's business. But there are people who are definitely Starbucks addicts, I guess is
Yeah,
what you would
what
call
is it? Those things that people spend $5 on? Those Mocha Supremo chocolate latte
Frappa latte,
things. I don't know what they.
Frappuccino. No,
I don't buy. And
Mocha
by the way,
latte, I don't know.
I should point out that this Starbucks is not off a freeway. It was in the
No.
middle of Austin,
Yeah.
basically. It's
Yeah.
not like you drive off a freeway and you see them. They do have drive-throughs sometimes off, those ones you get off the side of a
Hey,
freeway.
that's maybe what makes people feel normal or feel comforted.
Yes,
The
yes.
things, it's the little things that we can do.
It is normality. So if you're looking at us on the YouTube channel, then you'll see the photograph of the Starbucks line. And the final one, the ugly, we have to do this, but there's more important things. If we have time, I want to get to Trump's press conferences. I know it's a cheap shot. I know people think I'm not an independent. I spoke to 2 of my friends this week who are hardcore Trump supporters who basically accused me yet again of being a communist. And I always ask them this very simple question. We're not going to repeat it because Jackie's tired of it. What have the Republicans ever done in the last 30 years that they said they were going to do? And the answer is nothing. But that's my list for the moment. Before we get into Trump's press conferences, I don't want to get to that.
Oh, so was that your ugly? His
Yes,
press conferences
that's my
just
ugly.
in general?
That's my
Okay.
ugly. Well,
But
it
now
is
they've gone away, right? He's
Well,
not doing that anymore?
No, because he just got upset, hurt his feelings. So,
I really do like your hair this way. But hold on a second. What's going on in here?
Stop it. Get out of there. Go back to play your piano.
Oh.
before we get into did you get your money for your business,
Yeah.
this is really important. This is real life and death here. This is real money for real people. Jackie and I aren't making this up. Jackie had to go get money. Do you have your good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
next time we'll do the goods together. But,
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I've got mine, and I've got two good things. I just can't help it. I've got two good things again.
Oh, you're such
And-
an optimist.
I think that's what it is. So the first good things is people are getting their stimulus check. I got my stimulus check. My husband got his stimulus check. My kids got their,
Oh,
so
you're talking
the money's
the,
getting out, the $1,200.
Okay,
that,
but they taxed it, right? It's taxable,
okay.
right? Yeah?
I don't know.
Yes, it is. You pay tax on it.
Well, that's fine. That's
not
fine.
free money, I don't think.
Well, I mean, it's then the money that doesn't go to the taxes. It's getting out.
So
So
you-
that was a quick turnaround. That was about 3 weeks, like they said, and kudos.
It showed up just in your bank account?
Just showed up there.
Now, I mean, a stimulus check when there's nothing to spend it on is kind of useless. But in this case, for a lot of people, it's actually really important because it pays for food and that type of thing.
Exactly. So if you've been laid off, furloughed, just fired, I mean, this is good. So I was impressed. It's a massive undertaking, I would imagine, to get a check out to millions and millions of people. So it's coming along. I'm sure not everybody's got it, and there's going to be hiccups.
I didn't get mine.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't.
You just hang on.
Yeah, so 26 million people have been laid off in the last month.
Yeah.
And so hopefully for a lot of these
And so
people...
it's not enough. But I'm just
No, it's
saying, I
not.
mean, there's a lot of people already voicing that opinion. I
Yeah.
just know that it's a major undertaking. Kudos.
And you got your
But-
money. You got your
I got mine.
your stimulus check.
Yeah.
This is not the money to pay your people, which we're going to talk
No.
about in a minute. This is money just that was sent out to help people, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So that's one of your good. That's one of your
and
good.
so the other one, nobody in a million years that knows me would think that I would say this.
Yeah.
But I just have to say, the other good thing is the NFL draft.
Oh, you're kidding. You actually watched? Did you watch it?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay.
But the reason I say that
Oh, I know what
is
you're gonna say. Go
There's
ahead.
a certain amount of normalcy
Yes,
that comes
yes.
with it, and all the people who have been dying that without having sports around for the last 2 months are at least had something to look forward to, something to watch. I think it was 3 nights in a row. And my husband and my kids are part of that club.
I was about to say, did your family
Oh,
watch it?
absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely, you
Okay.
bet.
And I read good things. They said it went really well.
And you know what? I have no idea, but all I know is that the sports fans of the world are happy, and it gives us something to look forward to.
All right. Well, I'm all for. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
We need more
Yeah.
normality, and so that's good. Okay, that's a very good one. Well done. I would never have thought of that one in a million years. Although I did see
Not normally my thing.
I did see in Japan, just to get us off topic yet again, that they're going to start playing baseball because Japan is really big into baseball. They're going to start playing baseball.
As long as they spread the people out in the
Well,
dugout,
no.
I would think they could do it.
No, the audience is going to be cutouts of real people.
Oh, I think
Only the Japanese could do that. Seriously.
somebody had a concert or a wedding and they actually did do the cutouts.
Yeah, they're going to have cutouts of people in the stands. All right, so that's your good. That's very good. I actually
Yeah.
applaud you on that. So what are you doing next? Bad or the ugly?
I'm going to do the bad.
Okay, what was
We're
that?
going to go in order here. Well, so I'm kind of on the same road as you. So I think Trump's tweets were really bad when he put out there, liberate Michigan,
Oh,
liberate
right.
Virginia,
Right,
liberate
right,
Minnesota. Now that was probably something I could have used last week. But since we weren't here, I am also going to tack on that he then, when the governor of Georgia says, okay, I got the message, I'm going to liberate Georgia and we're going to open up. And then he's like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? So I kind of feel like it was fake. Like, Trump just likes to have an enemy.
Oh,
right?
he likes to have an enemy,
He likes to
yes,
have
yes.
a confrontation. He likes to have something to fight against. So let's fight against those terrible governors who are keeping us out, keeping the economy down. And now that the Georgia governor said, message received loud and clear, he's like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing there?
Well, he wants to
So I
own
think it was just fake. And so that's my bad.
And the governor of Georgia is opening up not just some of the extra shops, but he's
Yeah.
opening up things like the gyms, like the hair salons, and all these things that people are like, well,
Yeah.
hey, would I really go to that? The answer is no. Movie theaters. Would
Well,
you go
and
to
so
them? No.
here's what he's saying. He's saying, let the people decide. If they want to go get a tattoo, if that's the most important thing, then let them go get the tattoo. And that's just pretty darn risky.
Well, I'd like to ask these people who I've seen with signs saying this body is my responsibility if they now believe that women have a right to choose, seeing as that body is their responsibility. And I'm just throwing it in there. It's a low blow. It's a low blow.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
message received. I think
okay.
I think you've got something there.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So that was your bad. What's your ugly then? Seeing as we're doing the presses. I'm doing my ugly later after we've heard if you got your money. What is your
Yeah.
ugly?
My ugly goes back to our president being a liar.
Oh, sure.
But it's very specific this past week when
Okay.
he says, he goes on national TV and is brainstorming about whether disinfectants would clean out your lungs like they clean out the countertop. But
Now, to be fair, he didn't say that. He said, take it internally or something. Well, I actually
no,
don't know.
he referred specifically to the lungs.
Did he? Okay,
He's like,
all
I
right.
don't know, maybe he could figure out a way that could get
Okay.
to the lungs. Anyway,
Well, yeah.
But that wasn't even the problem because
Okay.
that we kind of see as the new normal, right? It's just the president out there
The fact
riffing
that he's,
at a press
and-
conference, right?
Yes.
And as absurd as it was,
It is absurd.
Okay, we could let that slide.
Actually,
what we
Yeah, go
can't
ahead.
slide
Yes.
is when somebody like Dr. Birx does
Yes.
not condemn it.
See, now you've taken my thunder. So let's do that then before we get to the Jackie money thing.
Okay.
I totally agree with you that when you've got these physicians on stage, and I actually looked up, obviously we're all familiar to some extent with the Hippocratic Oath, which is what physicians take an oath to basically show that they understand what being a physician means. And I knew this part already, but within that oath, on the Hippocratic Oath, is do no harm.
Right.
And it just stuns me no end that these people, and I say these people, these physicians, what's the Dr. Birx and what I've always forget the
Fauci?
What's his name?
Dr. Fauci.
Fauci, yeah, thanks. They don't come out. I can understand that you're on stage with the president and you're like covering your head or looking down because you're embarrassed and you don't want to get into a massive argument with the president of the United States on stage. But what I don't get is if it goes on consistently and he says some of these things like, hey, I'm not a physician, but I have common sense, which is used to cover some of his things before about using the malaria drug. Why these people then, and I'm saying this, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, I say these people, why these physicians don't then put out a press release, get a PR company to help them, there's plenty of people that will help them, write a press release that says, here's why I fundamentally disagree with all due respect to what the president said earlier today or yesterday And then if they get fired, they get fired. Why are they so worried about it? If they actually went out and said that,
It's the equivocating.
people-
it's
yes.
not coming out and going, absolutely, that was wrong.
Yes.
And even today, Dr. Burke said something about, well, the sunlight, that was a really important, story, saying that the sunlight kills the virus, rather
Well,
than
that's
coming
nonsense.
to the point
that's
of,
nonsense.
and my ugly wasn't just that this happened, but then that the president turned around and lied and said, I was being sarcastic and I was talking to you reporters, and he denied saying what he said, what we all watched him say. And I'm not like the one that's just going to harp on Trump just for the grins. I don't even think that, the testing response delay was really his personal fault. I think that any president in this time would have had
I agree with that.
it's going to
Yeah, I
take
agree
time
with
to
that.
ramp up. So we couldn't cut
Every
up some
country-
slack there.
every country's
But
had the same problem.
to look us in the eye and gaslight us and go, you didn't hear what you heard. Don't believe this fake press. Believe me, not what you saw.
And then
that's just disgusting.
Well, he lied about testing too. Remember, he did say anyone who gets wants a test can have
Yeah,
one.
but they did that to Obama when they said you can keep your doctors. We're getting there. We're getting to the point
Yeah.
with the testing. And do we need to even test everybody? I think we've come to terms with the fact that not everybody needs a test. And he did have a long lag in getting to the belief that this was going to be a problem for us, and we can discuss, where he kicked in. But the way that I feel is I'm not waiting for him to do it. I don't think hospitals are waiting for him to come save them.
But
I don't think that,
No, but that's the point. He's the leader of the country. It's
Yes.
his job to say what needs to be done and to lead by example, and he's clearly not doing that. I think you're giving him way too much credit.
No, in that respect, I'm saying I think he's lost all leadership ability.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think anybody's waiting on him anymore.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Someone I read on the press the other day, and I think you and I even spoke about it once. Should certain press outlets even be covering Trump's these coronavirus updates? And the answer is, of course, because you get him up there, and it shows
Who he really is.
is.
And that's one of the reasons
Yes.
they're taking it away, right?
Well,
because
he's taking
it shows
yeah, and
who
he's
he is.
And the other thing is, yes, but imagine this, Jackie. Think about this. What we're seeing is just a snippet of what's going, like 2 hours of what's going on in the White House every day. Think about what's going on in the Oval Office. Think about what he's doing in the mornings before he goes to work. Think, because he's watching all the morning shows. Think about what he does in the evening, again, when he's watching the news channels. Think about what's actually happening inside the White House all the time. We're just seeing snippets of his, how should we say, irrationality. And I know I spoke to a friend of mine this week who ran me up about a different topic, and just without me even prompting from me, started to talk about politics and said he's a Trump supporter, and I said, why? And he went on this list, and I said, well, and I'm not going to repeat it because you're going to rein me in, but I'm just going to point out that everything that Republicans supposedly stand for, anti-corruption, clean government, the Constitution, character counts, balancing the budget, I don't know, everything has gone out the window. And little Ted Cruz here in Austin. Hey, you know what, Ted? We are going to get you on as a guest once we get to the Amazon show at some point. I'm gonna guilt trip Ted. Do you think I can guilt? Actually, I don't think you can guilt.
More power to you.
I don't think you can guilt trip Ted into anything. To
I
be
really
honest.
don't
All right,
think that works.
so we jumped to the do no harm thing. So that was your ugly. I kind of agree with you. That was on my list too.
Yeah.
And I do wonder about these physicians because clearly they're embarrassed and they're not doing. Do you think that you and I are both independents? I know that your friends don't agree with you, that you're an independent. I know certainly my friends don't agree I'm an independent just because I push back.
Yeah.
But what do you think those physicians should do? I gave you my point.
Well,
What do
they
you-
are
what do you-
supposed to be independent, and what I don't understand, and I guess I just haven't been around Trump enough to believe everybody has to praise him. I'd say
Yes.
what a great job he's doing as they start their conversation, and it's
Yeah, that's
it just
really
gives me
weird.
a false sense of who he, like, what's going on.
Isn't
It's
that
like,
just weird?
I can't believe it. His National Economic Advisor, Peter Navarro. Peter
yes,
Navarro.
Yes, I've got it right here. Yeah.
I watched him on a Fox interview, and he said, one of the smartest men in the whole world.
It's just like, isn't it just, if I,
And
listen,
I just feel like it's so over the top. And I feel like he was talking to the president to get him to listen to the advice that he has on China. And
it is sickening. It is awful. I mean, I've run a company, and if I had people that came up to me and said, "Boss, you're just the best." Oh
Every
man,
single day.
every single day, I'd go, "What the hell are you talking about? I don't need,
Yeah.
I don't need sycophants around me. Just tell me the truth." God.
the truth is usually best. And,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
know.
Well, having said that, I know we still haven't got to your money thing. I just want to cover this very quickly. So, as you know, I've been going to Governor Abbott's press conferences here in Texas.
Yeah.
And here in Austin, and because I literally live 5 minutes from the Capitol building. And so it's easy for me to get to, and I have press passes and everything. I'm not going to go into the questions. I think we're going to save that for another time. We're going to run out of time. But I will say this. What surprised me, and I mentioned this to someone else, he has 2 physicians on stage, and I think a security advisor or someone, I forget what they all do. There's 3 or 4 people up there with him. Every one of those people said the following, more or less, Governor, if it wasn't for your policies, you've done an amazing job, and I want to thank you for your leadership. I'm sitting in the audience 10 feet from these people. I want to vomit. It was like...
So how many people were saying that? Like,
so he's on
they were up on stage?
They're
or
up on a stage. They're on like a dais, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a physician who, I always forget these names wrong, but so Abbott's in the middle. There's a physician to the right. They're separating. And there's 2 other fellows to the left, and the 2 on the left are one's a physician and one's in a uniform. I always forget what his job title is. He's in a white uniform of some description, and the 2, all of them, all 3 of those individuals, only 4 on stage, one of them Abbott. Every one of those people at some point has to make the statement that I want to thank you for your leadership, Governor, and it's a privilege. And I'm like, oh my God, please
and
stop.
I guess,
I mean, seriously, if I was governor, I would say, shut up. It's embarrassing for everybody when you do that.
And is that normal?
No,
I mean,
I don't know.
Is this a new era of politics, or I'm trying to think of, like,
I don't know. No idea.
Was Obama praised, Bush praised every time they got up
by their own people
to do anything? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Now, to be honest, I've only been going to Abbott's press conferences for 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm the one. Their press guy already came up to me. I think I mentioned this last time. I'm not going to repeat everything, but came up to me and asked who I am, and I said, I'm the British guy that's going to ask you all the difficult questions, and which they don't answer. And the part that so I don't know, to answer your question, Jackie.
Is that typical?
I don't know if that's typical, but it was really weird. That's all I have to say. It was really weird. If is why they feel that, it's almost like, I don't want to ask the question because it's a stupid question. But I mean, seriously, you actually want to say thank you for taking my question, Governor, and can I ask everybody else on stage why they feel they have to praise you every 5 minutes? I mean, that would be a stupid question. I am not going to do that.
Yeah.
But it is at the back. It has to be at the back of everybody's minds. If I was Governor Abbott, I would say stop doing it. All right, okay, sorry, I'm venting now. You're getting me all, listen, you're getting me all worked up.
Don't blame it on me.
This is all
I think you walk in that way.
I do. This is all your fault. All right, so can we get to, I got it on my list here, because we don't have a script, but we have talking points. Mm-hmm. As people can probably tell, we have no idea half the time where this is going to go. So I'm going to set this up for you, and then you take us through it. So Jacque has a business, and clearly... actually, more I think about it, she's done amazingly well running this business since she was in college. I'm not going to explain everything or what it is. And she has employees, and it's been affected adversely by the coronavirus lockdown. Mm-hmm. And Jacque was applying, last time we checked, to receive at least, I believe, because to pay for your employees' payroll, right, $70,000. So that's where we left it. And you mentioned some banks were really helping you last time. So now we want to know, did Jacque get her money? And was she able to pay her employees?
Well, let me tell you, I have good news.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I did. It was crazy because the day that they announced that the payroll protection program was out of money,
Oh, that's right.
my money showed up. It was that day where you think, okay, I'm, totally out of luck here, and I'm going to have to wait until Congress passes the next one or the next one or the next one, because no telling how far, where am I in the process, and who knows where I'm, on the rung of things,
Right.
because so many other companies, big companies were ahead of us. But we did get our money, and we are paying our employees, and
So does
it's been a huge relief. And so I feel very fortunate and very pleased. But I know that I'm just one out of, so it was about 1.2 million companies were able to tap into that fund, but 30.5 million small businesses in America. So that leaves a lot of people out and not as fortunate as us.
Yeah, and like I said, my hairstylist who runs his own salon, he was able to get some money.
Okay, you said that. So some money, like from the payroll for the
Yeah,
payroll
but then they
protection?
ran out or something. They only sent in part of it. I haven't got the entire story
Oh,
yet.
so he was even further on the cusp than I was.
So he's hoping now that they're actually replenishing it, he'll get some more. But I want to get back to you. But the point is, on this, $350 billion people say, well, it's not enough, and the Democrats held it up, or some Republican guy held it up. $350 billion was nowhere near enough in the first place. It was
Right.
not. Hadn't even thought it through.
Well, so here's the thing: is I think it was smart that the Democrats held it up to, have an oversight, if you will. But one of the things that they really should have done that they didn't. This is huge. This is huge. Guess what? One thing they forgot to put in the bill:
No idea.
need.
What?
Need,
Oh,
making it a
need.
need-based thing. So
Oh,
really
yes,
what's going
yes,
on
yes,
right
yes,
now
yes.
is any company, whether they're still operating, whether they're still open for business, whether if it's a technology company and all of your employees are working from home, but business is still going on, you can apply for this, and it'll pay for their salaries.
I thought you had to justify the fact that if you didn't...
That's what's missing.
You didn't have to do any of that?
No.
You just applied for it?
Mm-hmm. And I assumed
Wow,
that everybody
okay.
who was applying had a need.
Yeah, I
But
did too.
guess
Naively,
what?
I guess.
I think it is a little naive of us.
Yes.
And that wasn't a thing. And I spoke with somebody, and I'm not going to name names, and we're going to vet it a little bit more,
Okay.
who said their company got it, and they're hiring like mad.
Yeah. So let's just... Okay, so in your case, though,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it last time, a few weeks ago. The way it was left off, you were dealing with two banks. This is what really helped you, right? You had friends at these banks, or people you had great acquaintances or good
Right.
relationships with. So did they tell you did someone tell you at one of these banks, the household names, on the Wednesday, was it Wednesday when it ran out, and Wednesday when you got the money last week?
No, that the person that I know at the bank only gave me a heads up as to when the website
Oh, okay.
was going
Okay.
live to be able to apply.
Okay, so when you got
Yeah.
your money, it just showed up. There was no emails. It just ended up in your bank account.
Exactly.
And how do they know that you're using it to pay for your
So we
employees?
had to send documents, and after you get the money in 8 weeks, it's supposed to be the amount of money you need to do payroll for the next 8 weeks, right?
Right.
And then we get audited and see if it gets
Oh.
forgiven or not.
How do they
So
audit it? How do they do that?
these are the questions. And Jonathan, I have to tell you, one of our biggest concerns is the requirement that you keep your employees, right? So you have to use 75% of the money that you received towards payroll.
Right.
Perfect.
Sure.
Not a problem.
Right.
Then there's a stipulation about keeping your employees with your company. We don't know until when.
Oh,
do
you
I
mean-
do I keep them until June? Do I keep them
Oh.
until July? Because if I don't keep those employees, then
So
I have to give back that money
I just assumed that you
that
have
I've
to,
given away.
I just assumed, maybe I'm wrong, you have to keep them for at least the 2 months that you're paying them. After that, you're free to do with what you will, assuming the economy doesn't bounce back or there's no more funding. Are you not thinking it's the same way?
We have no idea. But
Oh,
those
wow.
are the details that we thought we would get to speak with the banker, and we've tried to speak with people, and they just simply do not have the answers.
Okay.
Well, that would be easy, right? So that's
Yeah.
not even a hard stipulation. If all I have to do is pay my employees for 8 weeks and keep them, well, done. I mean, that's, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's easy. And it's, why have that stipulation if that's the only stipulation that there is?
So on a practical level, though, you've
Mm-hmm.
distributed that money, and in this, and I believe we can share it was $70,000, right?
Right.
Over a 2-month period, so $35,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You distributed, and your only obligation is 75% of that has to go to them, correct?
Right, but we already do know that we will not be using all of that money, that we're going to be returning some of it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because not everybody is coming back, and the people
Oh.
who aren't coming back, it's our understanding that we aren't to pay them.
Oh, okay. So you've got
Okay.
people. Oh, I see. So people have chosen to move on. Let's say you don't. Basically, they've resigned to some extent.
Right.
You don't need to
Or if
pay.
they've gotten a job someplace else.
Right, okay.
Then I'm not paying them, and I've got to return that money.
Right, because you're going to get all. I don't know how are they going to audit you? How does that even work? How do they know?
Well, because of our quarterly reports. So we, every quarter, give a report to the government to say
Oh,
how
okay.
much I paid this person
I see.
every quarter, and because we pay their taxes.
Right.
Anyway, it's easy enough to audit.
So with your employees, obviously, you're pretty relieved, I imagine, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but we're just trying to figure out. I have an employee who, quite honestly, worked for us all the way up into this and then moved to Houston. She's not working. I would love to pay her, and we're holding off on paying her because we don't know if the stipulation is that she then has to be retained as an employee and does she have to come back to work here?
Well,
Is that-
hypothetically, I suppose if she's not coming back to work, I mean, if you just wanted to help her out, you could pay her. And if she resigns in 2 months, right? I mean, that could just be the way it is.
I can honestly tell you, we're trying to figure that out right now.
Okay. So you, I know this was a big worry for you, and you actually succeeded in it, which is great. We know that many people, and apparently
Are struggling, yeah.
struggling. My salon guy only got partial money, and I'll confirm that for next time. But you did a great job, right? I mean, well done, right? I mean, you got to be pretty pleased.
We're thrilled. We feel, like I said, we did do the necessary things, but we also got lucky.
Yeah, and they ran out since then, and now there's more money. I think 450 billion. So it's
Yeah, so
like,
hopefully that'll help a lot more people.
It's going to help a lot. So 800 billion total.
And we haven't even talked about the companies who got big chunks of money and then, like Shake Shack, decided to turn it back in. And
Yes.
That was, and Harvard, giving the money back, I guess.
$8 million, and they have a $40 billion endowment.
But see, what people don't understand is, if you have accountants and, in advisors and stuff like that, they're telling you, go get this
Go
money.
get it, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't
that's
you?
what it's there for. And
Yes.
so I think a lot of people are going to try. I mean, and you just have to I really think that it was looking towards the intent of what this money was for.
Yeah.
And it is for small businesses, and it is for need. And so for some company to take it who doesn't actually have the need, it's
I
just a
agree.
money grab at that point, and it's shameful.
I agree with you. It is shameful. And, with so many people being unemployed, I mean, in Texas, I don't know if you saw this, but I read the projected unemployment rate in Texas. When the next time I see Abbott, I'm going to ask him this question. It's 15%, by the way, which is huge because it's only
huge.
So it's going to be a lot of hurt going on. We'll be discussing this a
And,
lot more.
it is a shame because we did have a robust economy.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
how long will these effects linger? For certain segments of the population, I think it's going to be longer lasting than
Absolutely.
others. I
And
think other companies, certain industries will bounce a little bit easier bounce back.
And
But
some people are going to, it's permanent for some people.
sadly, it will
So
be.
let me, on a different question then, because we're going to run out of time fairly soon. First off, so congratulations. I
Thank
know
you.
that's a weight
Thank
off
you.
your mind. We've
It
been talking
absolutely is.
for the last 3 weeks or so, 3.5 weeks, we've been talking about it. So the next question is, which would affect your business and make people feel more confident, is Abbott, and here in Texas and Georgia and other states, they're talking about opening the economy. So in the last few minutes, what do you think? Do you think, I mean, because it obviously would help your business. Again, we're not going to describe what it is, but it would help your business if people felt more comfortable. Like I said before, I'm not going to go to a gym. I'm not going to go to the movie theater. But
Right.
you're in none of those businesses. How would do you think is this premature, or do you think we should be opening up? What do you think?
I think we're doing it right. We're going to do it in phases. And I think that it makes no sense that Home Depot and Target can be open, but you have, a paint store and they cannot
Right,
be open.
exactly.
That's
a bike
the picking
store.
winners
Right.
and losers, right?
Right, right.
So, yeah, I think that in certain areas and in certain situations, yeah, I think I think we're feeling it now here in Texas where the lights are coming up, right? And I'm all for that. I think that's what we really need to do, but be smart about it.
Yeah, I actually
I think the restaurants and the clubs and
Oh, the
concerts,
clubs,
those
yeah.
are way down the line.
Yeah,
Sports,
yeah,
yeah.
that's going to be really difficult. Yeah, I mean, I've told many people this. We've said it on air as well. I would probably go to the stylist, hair salon,
Yeah.
get my hair cut. Because in this case, though, you and I spoke before the show. Because
And they'll be wearing gloves and they'll have on masks.
Yeah, because I know the owner. I feel
Well,
comfortable
here's
with
the
that.
thing. It doesn't matter if you know them,
Well,
right? They're being exposed to 10 other clients
That's
that
true
same
for them.
day.
They might not want to do it. And
So that's the risk. It's the people going
Yeah.
to work. You're just seeing one person, but they're
Right.
seeing 12.
Yeah, and what I can tell you, I would not go to the gym. I would not go to the movies. I would not go to the casinos in Vegas just to pick. Oh my God, I get sick going to
Did
Vegas.
you watch the interview with the mayor of Las
I-
Vegas?
no, I didn't. I can't bear to watch some
It
of
was
these
crazy
things.
time,
I
crazy
can't
time,
bear
yeah.
to watch some of these things. Yes, where she's basically saying, "Well, we'll see what happens."
Yeah.
It's like what?
She wants to open up
I
that
know.
city, and that's unfortunately you're just putting too many workers
Yeah.
at risk.
What about the people who?
Yeah, the dealer
Yeah,
at the
di-
blackjack table or the craps table, or
Yep.
they've got to have to figure something
I've been to
else out.
Vegas.
Bigger tables?
Yes.
I don't know.
I've been to Vegas 50 times.
Yeah.
At least, and I can tell you, at least 10% of those times, I've got sick. Not because you're around in that environment,
Sure.
things grow, and I've come back after being there 4 or 5 days, and you just feel terrible. There's something that happens, and
All the
and-
eating and drinking, probably.
well, that's part of it,
Yeah.
and the lack of money afterwards is also a part of it. I see you and I agree that there should be some
I
kind
think
of opening.
we're ready. Well, we're
I'm going
also
s-
fortunate. Texas hasn't. If this was New York City,
Oh, yeah.
and you're asking me the same question, I'd be like, heck no. Don't even think about it. What are you crazy? Are you insane? And we've been fortunate. And if we don't remain fortunate, like so, if we open up and we're slowly getting there, and all of a sudden the numbers start to go up, then we've got to pull back.
Well, one thing we did right, which the mayor did right, and at the time we were still kind of early days,
Yeah.
was the cancelling of South by Southwest.
Absolutely.
Because as painful as that was for the city, to lose all that revenue, could you imagine if we had gone through with it, what might have happened?
Yeah, so
with all those people here in Austin?
we're in a different position
Yeah,
than
yeah.
other cities and states,
Yeah.
quite frankly. And I think there's no one size fits all on this.
Okay,
right?
so I just have to end
Okay.
on one little rant, however you want to say it.
Well, it wouldn't be Voice of the Radical Center if we didn't have one rant.
So Alex Azar is the Health and Human Services Secretary, and Jackie's heard me go on about him before. And the only reason they're saying he did a terrible job, and of course every administration needs a fall guy, except Trump seems to have dozens of them, talking about lack of response to coronavirus. The only reason I'm bringing up Alex Azar is because of his terrible response on the state of healthcare in this country across the board, which is particularly for me personally, because I'm a diabetic, but I know people that are, and Jackie's heard this. is the fact that people in America, United States, die 3 times the rate of most Western countries because they have diabetes, and that's mainly because they can't afford insulin. So as far as I'm concerned, if they replace Alex Azar, that's totally fine with me, because he was the chairman or CEO of Eli Lilly, and Eli Lilly is one of my companies on my hit list. It's the only American company that sells insulin in this country. The rest of them are not even American. So I just want to say that, Mr. Azar, sir, thank you for ignoring my request to come and be interviewed, which he did.
Well, okay, so I
So
kind of
good
missed
riddance.
the headline there.
Good
So
riddance,
you're
good
just
riddance.
happy he's gone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, useless. Totally useless. Absolutely useless. Waste of space. So much for draining the swamp, Mr. President, because he came from the swamp and didn't do a damn thing for anybody in the healthcare industry.
Okay, there you go.
A healthcare patient. All right.
Feeling better already.
I do. This is therapeutic for me, even though we're not in the... So how was this for you, being in a different studio? I just point out, Jacque is in Studio B, which is essentially the basement.
Yes, I was designated to the basement.
Designated to the
No,
basement.
totally fine, totally fine.
Okay, and next week, hopefully, though, you'll have self-isolated enough that we can at least be in the same studio next time, hopefully.
Yes, we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
Supposed to be 14 days, but, we'll see.
Well, symptoms, though, right? They come, they're supposed to, I think, well, we'll see. We'll play it by ear.
We'll play it by ear.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, though, because this is the first show we've done in over a year where we're not actually, whether it's on the radio or wherever, we're not in the same room.
Well, what did you think? I felt like we had good conversation, lots to talk about.
I think there's so much to talk about. I didn't end. You wouldn't believe this scam still exists. J.P. Morgan Chase supposedly sent me an urgent transfer request of $4.5 million because they're looking for someone to take the president's money from some foreign country.
I think you should do it.
Can you believe that? Still, I'm holding it up to the camera. That still exists.
I think you should do it.
That still exists. Someone wants my...
It's a classic. Why change a classic?
I guess it still works.
Yeah.
Someone wants unclaimed assets and they want to give me $4.5 million. So,
hey, could be your lucky week.
Could be my lucky week. Okay, so I'm going to say my name is Jonathan Langley.
And I'm Jacque Nowak.
And thanks for listening and thanks for watching, and we'll be back very, very soon.